Bitcoin cold storage and self-custody into the cold now. This is incredibly important update alert. We did a fundamentals look at Bitcoin this week, and now we're going to go over some technicals a little bit, just looking at the charts to give people perspective on where things are at. And this is a crazy time in every asset class. We're dealing with it in real estate, and the markets are really turning. And on the fly, almost 50% change year over year decrease in monthly mortgage applications. So things are really changing everywhere, and this is why it's incredibly important to educate yourself on markets, where things are going, the asset classes you like. So everyone must get off their Bitcoin exchanges now and into cold storage. I have past articles and videos I've shared about how to do that, and reputable open source wallets I like Blockstream Jade, Trezor, Coldcard. That is the whole entire article video right there. Everyone has to get off their exchange now and put their Bitcoin into, or their keys into self custody, into cold storage. Not your keys, not your coins. Exchanges and scam coins are on tilt, and numerous have already burned down or locked up in the past month. Terra Luna, just a month ago, and then just recently in this last week or so, Celsius, Binance, Three Arrows Capital, rumors about Coinbase and other exchanges that are having trouble, or just putting holds, like BlockFi puts a day or two hold on as of a month ago. Coinbase putting holds on people's funds. This is exactly why, when their liquidity drains from the ocean, the ocean of liquidity is draining out, you see who's swimming naked. It's bad entrepreneurs, bad companies, bad projects. And when an endless currency is not just being thrown into the system, covering up for all the bad decisions and all the garbage out there, then you start seeing who is running a real practice, who's running a real company, who's running a real business. And that's what is going to happen in any liquidity event, and when you have a lack of liquidity and rates rising. So just watch for this. This is going to continue over time until the Fed really breaks something, and then they will return to what they were doing before, which is buying bonds, probably buying stocks eventually, buying more mortgage-backed securities, and propping up the markets everywhere. So that's coming long term. In the short term, again, we're going to have more squeeze like this, and it's going to really root out a lot of the garbage in the system, whether it's altcoins, bad companies, like we said, bad investments. And Bitcoin is not immune to that, and it will get sucked down because it is a liquid asset, and people will be selling Bitcoin to pay off other things and other margin calls, etc. The beauty of Bitcoin, though, is that it's immutable wealth that you custody and you can control. No one can take that from you. Bitcoin's features are not its price. Everyone gets locked up in this price thing and just thinking, oh yeah, you lost, good luck with this crypto Bitcoin thing. You guys are wrong. I don't see, there's not dancing, crypto boys on TikTok anymore, or whatever the heck. That's because those are all scam coins. All those people are gone. They will be gone. They'll come back again, because that's how markets work. People start lending out assets and doing crazy things as markets turn again. And it'll be new scams, just like there was the ICO craze 4 years ago. In Bitcoin, there was, Mt. Gox and BitConnect, 4 years before that, and now we have, DeFi and NFTs and painting or digital images of monkeys and things like that. Those are the scams. Those are the elite. Those are the VCs creating these coins out of nothing and then dumping on the retail. That's going to happen every single time. It happens in Wall Street all day long. If you don't believe me, go look at pensions and endowments and a lot of what's going on there. The pensions are one of the biggest scams ever created on Earth. An unbelievable book is Who Stole My Pension by Robert Kiyosaki and Ted Siddell. That book goes through all of the corruption, all of the opaqueness of pensions, and why those are all completely underwater, because they're all just complete scams. They're all just complete Ponzi's. So that's why Bitcoin, this is exactly why Bitcoin is so powerful. It's because of the application of the network and you being able to custody it and control it, and no one can do anything with it. And it's completely transparent. And again, I have another article I shared here about Bitcoin self-storage from Swan Bitcoin. It's an incredible company. And I want to share this review that Justin Rizvani, who runs Zion, which is a social media network built on top of Bitcoin. And we've mentioned it before and talked about it, but a company that I'm just learning more about that was run on the Bitcoin network. So you own your audience, you own your comments, you own everything. There's no algorithm, there's no centralized algorithm taking you out of the system and censoring you. It's impossible because it's built on Bitcoin. So someone wrote in this Bitcoin review to his book, and it just shows again some of the other reasons why Bitcoin, and some of the main reasons why Bitcoin is important. Not because of price. Price is just a benefit of what's going on with it, and just an added, a token of, hey, this is great. You own this unbelievable system. You own part of it, so you can benefit in this way from it, not just what I'm going to explain here. So he says, yes, Bitcoin can control over wealth. Can return control over wealth back to the people as the centralized government dollar continues to collapse. But it's much more than that. The technology that allows Bitcoin to be hard money has many more implications, and he just names a few here, from secure elections to censorship-free peer-to-peer social media, tipping, payments back and forth, merchants not having to use the 3% credit card fees, which Strike has already done through Shopify, Blackhawk, and NCR, some of the biggest payment systems in the world. It returns wealth and returns freedom back to the consumer, back to us. And he says these systems that gave birth to Bitcoin can put the internet and politics back into your hands. Justin Ravani's Unapologetic Freedom book is a great introduction to this revolution. You will realize why you need to be a part of this and make it happen. And so I've been orange pilled over the last couple of years, probably about 2 years ago. I started buying Bitcoin 3 or 4 years ago, and really didn't look into it right away, and got into altcoins and other things as well, and then sold out of those over time because I realized that Bitcoin was the only thing. These were all just copies and just scams off of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin was the true thing to revert us back into freedom, liberty, and prosperity and free markets. So again, this is why it's important. We already went over the fundamentals this week and technicals. If you are listening, you can go see the article on our blog here or on the video and see the fear and greed index. And if you're still wondering if Bitcoin's falling off the cliff and falling through the floor and it's never going to come back, here are just again some technical charts to give you some perspective. The fear and greed index is obviously an unbelievable thing to look at and see where are people at. I mean, we're 7 out of 100 right now. Complete fear. Some of the lowest scores you'll ever see here, which means it's an incredible time to buy. And that's where you have to cut through emotion and understand when a good time to buy and a good time to sell is, which hopefully is selling never. You just lend against it as it continues accruing monetary energy over time. So we have the 200-week 200-week moving average heat map, again showing that it's still above the 200-week. So again, even though fear is super low and everyone thinks it's crashing through the floor, we still have it's still above the 200-week moving average, just barely, but it's gone down a few times throughout time below the 200-week moving average. So, but it just again shows you that people say it's up and to the right technology, money go up technology, and this is why. Because the more people are adopting the network, which we showed you the other day, the fundamentals have never been stronger. Hash rate has never been higher. The Lightning Network, layer 2, people using it at every level is growing, growing, growing. And that's where when you see the fundamentals of something are stronger than ever, but then the price is lower than ever, that has to make you pause and say, okay, what's going on here? And kind of reassess your thesis. And again, we want to find attractive assets that wait until they go on sale. And that goes for real estate, gold, silver, stocks, Bitcoin, doesn't matter. Finding attractive assets, buying attractive, rental houses or attractive multifamily on the greatest street corners in the world, just like McDonald's does. They find the best street corners in the world and then they go buy those pieces of real estate. That's all their business is. That's all McDonald's is. As Ray Kroc told everyone, hey, this is exactly what I do. I'm a real estate company and I go find the best things. So here, to me, the research I've done, Bitcoin is the fastest horse. It is the best investment. It is the best network. It's the best asset there is because you have full control and it just continues to accrue value. It's the hardest, most thermodynamically sound asset on earth. And it will continue accruing value over time as these charts fundamentally and technically are showing us. And that's my point of this. It's not to say that Bitcoin couldn't go down to whatever, 3,000, 10,000, go down half again from here. I don't know where it's going to go. That's not the point, but I know long term, this will provide more and more freedom to more and more people. And just with the trends and technology and where life is going and having a digital energy money, this is where everything will accrue over the long term. My education has brought me to that place. And again, coupled with the freedom aspect of wanting freedom for all people to do what they do best, but ultimately to have freedom back in our money. Right now, when you have manipulated interest rates, you've got manipulation across the board. There is no free market. There's interest due on every dollar in existence because it's printed out of nothing. It's complete debt. It's not backed by anything. It's just a dollar. It's not backed by gold and silver. It's not backed by Bitcoin. It's not backed by oil or something tangible. That therein lies the problem. That's why so many people are having problems in falling from the middle class into the poor, because and businesses are having a very hard time. And there's 20% of the Fortune 500 companies or S&P are zombie companies, can't afford the interest on their debt because we keep moving the goalpost. Interest rates are out of whack. We keep bailing out companies. Too big to fail. Well, people need to fail. That's the greatest thing about capitalism. That's how you learn. Failure is great because that is how you learn. And that creates better prices for the rest of us. It creates a better standard of living. That means costs come down. Instead, we just have this inflationary system where things just keep going up in price and we keep losing value. So again, there's an incredible site here. Look into Bitcoin. If you click in here, that you can go see that. I've linked it to it here, but it kind of shows you the Bitcoin rainbow price chart indicator, telling you when it's a good time to buy or sell, and just the logarithmic charts, the standard deviations as well. So again, just wanted to show you these things to give you perspective. We did the fundamentals earlier this week, and we have some technicals here just to show you where things are. And where they're going. And I should say these are a little bit more fundamental as well. We don't have technical, Fibonacci's on here necessarily. We have standard deviations and stuff like that, but we don't have trend lines. But you can see them for yourself and where things are and where they're going, because it's not about price. It's about more and more people, as central bank, as I write about in here, the central bank digital currencies are coming, and this is the way out of the digital panopticon, out of the 1984 George Orwell style Big Brother, them controlling the elites, controlling everything in your life. And if you like that, that's great. Then keep using the dollar, and hold that long term, and just invest in a diversified stocks portfolio, bonds, or whatever, mutual funds, and have at it. Pay tons of fees, and if the government doesn't like you someday, then they freeze you out of the system, as we've already been seeing happening in other first world countries like Canada. We just did it, froze Russia's reserves, their dollar assets. So they did it to a nuclear superpower. What says they can't do it to you? So again, I simply lay these things out because you see negative people about Bitcoin right now dance on its grave, and that's great. They might be right in the short term or over a couple months, but when in doubt, zoom out, look over long term. The trend continues, and the fundamentals are stronger than ever. And Warren Buffett said, I don't like a lot of the stuff he says, half of it, but the other half he says is good. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. And his mentor Benjamin Graham said, in the short run, the market is a voting machine. In the long run, it's a weighing machine. Again, just zooming out, finding great assets, and then waiting until they go on sale. And again, like I said, none of this means anything good. The Fed's going to continue to tighten, rein in inflation because of the mess they made by printing currency, massive amounts of currency, and shutting down the world for their own reasons, because they had to print currency. And that's another topic for a different day. And they'll continue crashing markets. So be prepared for more volatility in all the markets. And again, when the liquidity drains out, like we said, get your assets off the exchanges, get them out and into your cold storage. If you have Bitcoin, prepare all your assets. Make sure you have insurance on your properties. Make sure you have insurance on your house. Make sure you have insurance in your stocks, in your 401k, in your portfolio. Start talking to who's managing your pension, who's managing your 401k, who's managing these things. Do they have limit orders in? Do they have stop losses in? Are they going to sell out? Like, what's going to happen to your portfolio when things keep crashing? Because they could go down another 90% from here. Are you prepared for that? And do you have dry powder ready to deploy into the coming bottom at some point in the coming days, weeks, months, to go in and make? This is when the Warren Buffetts and all these people and the great investors out there, and the Charlie Mungers and the Ray Dalios and Stan Druckenmillers, this is when they go in and buy like crazy, the Bill Millers, and they go all in. And this is how they have a lot of money, because they are running into the burning building when everyone is running out, because it is very hard. The emotion gets the best of all of us, and we have to be prepared mentally. So be prepared for volatility. Like I said, Bitcoin is no exception. It's still up almost 6x from its March 2020 low. There's no other asset like it. Oil, went negative, a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. So, you could say oil has, because it's, I think, up with 3, 4, 5x in the last, year or so, whatever it's been. It's gone up a ton. So you could say, we'll give oil the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, oil's close to Bitcoin there. And I'm going to be buying, just for me personally, I'm going to be buying all the way down, all the way up, making big tranche orders, limit orders as Bitcoin goes down and already set, and dollar cost averaging down and up as well on top of that. It's the most decentralized, strongest computing network ever to exist, and I don't believe it's going away anytime soon. Bubbles don't crash down and come back multiple times. Again, tulip bubbles, people want to talk about stuff like that, and Bitcoin is just a greater fool theory. if you haven't done the homework and you haven't seen the rigs, the volcanic energy, the marathon, all these companies that are huge, massive companies that have Bitcoin mining rigs that are stabilizing grids now, it's, capturing stranded energy, capturing pollution and turning it into Bitcoin mining, then you have to go do the research. You have to see what's going on with your own eyes and do the research. You can just Google. You don't have to go travel there, but go Google and see what's going on and see this network at work. And then it will hopefully start to change your mind. If it's not going to zero, then one has to ask, where is it ultimately going? As Michael Saylor says, if it's not going to zero, it's going to 1,000,000. The network is a bet on freedom, technology, trends in the future. I know where I stand. I've placed my bets accordingly. Bitcoin stands for the disruption of the banksters, the elites, and those responsible for the destruction of your wealth in the very system we live in. If someone has a better idea, I am all ears. And again, reminding what we talked about the other day, the Rothschilds, they said, if my boys don't want wars, there would be no wars. And if they give me the money, I care not who makes the laws of a nation. If I control the money supply, I control everything. That is what Bitcoin disrupts and takes back for all of us. So again, stay strong. We're in some crazy times. It's going to get crazier. I do believe it's going to get worse before it gets better, a lot of this, but I do believe 10, 20 years from now, there's massive, massive abundance, incredibly deflationary, cheap energy, abundant energy, everything because of what's coming, AI, tech, the Bitcoin, deflationary money, deflationary technology. It's going to change everyone. It's going to change the world and humanity. But again, hopefully at this point you realize that there's more than just price or people getting wealthy to this whole Bitcoin thing, and why so many people talk about it. So many people are so adamant about it, and so crazy about it. Quite honestly, there are some crazy people out there about it, but this is why what we just talked about. And again, I'm vehemently against tyranny and trying to educate anyone who will listen regarding a way out of the hamster wheel experiment our governments around the world have put us in. Central bank digital currency is on its way, like we've spoken about, and Bitcoin is the best escape valve I have seen from complete government control of every action in our lives. This is why I'm compelled to talk about Bitcoin each day. So I appreciate you guys. Please share this if you think anyone will get anything out of this. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the newsletter, and we'll share our portfolio. Like I said, in the coming months, once a month we'll go through the portfolio personally and what we're doing. And if you like this, please again share this with anyone you think would get any benefit out of this at all, or wondering about this stuff. Let me know what questions you have, and I appreciate the time and energy. It's the most important asset. Talking about assets, the most important asset we have is our time. We cannot get any more of that. It's the only thing we can't buy more of. So I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one.